Brampton, and just to get people excited. And I'm glad we did that. I'm glad we pushed to go to Nigeria, um, because not only did it get people really interested in what's happening here in Brampton, but it also led to a second trip where we went again, and really were it had the chance to meet with local businesses who are very interested in opening here in Brampton. And that second trip was great because the mayor came along as well.
Yes.
And so the beehive is one of those ways where we can encourage, people coming to the city want to grow and have that international connection. That is an excellent investment that we're saying we want to invest in businesses growing here, especially in the different areas of cybersecurity, food and beverage,
Yes.
health and sciences. And so, but out of that, we also were able to create, there is now the development of a position, which is the coordinator for FDI in Africa and the Caribbean market. So we came back and, there was a real need for us to have presence to acknowledge the fact that we have many Caribbean African residents living in this city, and two, to realize that there are businesses happening in those countries, and many of our residents have business connections in those
Yes.
countries. And so why are we not tapping into that resource? And so when we moved the motion to have a position created, that motion passed, and out of the budget there is a position right now that people can go to the City of Brampton website, and I just want to make sure I have my paper, to apply for the position. So
Yes.
the job is the Economic Development Office, and it's the coordinator, again, like I said, for FDI Africa and Caribbean markets. And
Yes.
we want people who can foster partnerships, identify opportunities for investments and growth in the city of Brampton by generating quality leads and providing superior client consultation service to business prospects.
Yes.
So this is huge. I
Absolutely.
think I'm really excited to see where this is going to go, and I hope there are some young people listening and watching that are interested. Go try it. Go throw your name in the hat if you have experience in economic development, understand the Caribbean African markets, and know how that we can help keep watering the seed that we have already planted here in Brampton. So yeah, I'm looking
Absolutely. And I
forward
was
to
just
that.
thinking about that. Maybe I'll throw my hat in the ring here after I
Hey,
retire from
hey,
the
go
desk.
for
Who
it.
knows? Who knows what
Go
might
for
happen?
it.
But
That's
of
right.
course, and still on the prospects of economics, though, and developing the
Yes.
city of Brampton, because I think one of the things that we talk about all the time, and what Mayor Brown and Council is trying to get at, is that there is a lot of potential in one of the fastest growing cities in Canada. And it goes back to the recent project, which is the, of course, Boardwalk project, which
Yes.
has
Yes.
received funding. Exciting thing that is.
That is exciting. The federal government has funded a good portion of that project. Guys, we're going to get Riverwalk downtown Brampton. So, what has happened over the years? Brampton used to be, downtown Brampton was on a floodplain. And years ago, there was a major flooding that completely ripped apart downtown Brampton. So, in order to manage the flooding, a lot of water channels were built, and the water was essentially kind of diverted to make sure that it doesn't flood the downtown Brampton anymore.
Yes.
Um, but with that, it's really locked this downtown Brampton to the point where you can't build. There's certain bylaws on how high you can build, and the engineering of the base of the property has to be built in a certain plane in order to prevent the possibility of any type of flooding and damage and such. So with Riverwalk, there's a huge environmental component to that because we needed to make sure that the water can be diverted in a way that is not going to impact the areas around, and is also very environmentally friendly. So I'm really looking forward to seeing how this is going to make Brampton, it's like the key. It's going to unlock so much development and business growth in this area. So having that partially funded, and with the funding we have as well, in our coffers, and it's exciting news. So please stay tuned for that.
Absolutely, and I want to just read a little synopsis here published by the city as to the potentials of this. So it's 17,700 plus persons to come in. So we're talking about flood
Yes,
mitigation in that aspect. Some 23,800 plus jobs, which is a 62% increase. We're talking about it adds some 256 million to the Canadian economy,
that's
creating
right.
again 2,200 full-time jobs. That is, and of course unlocks it while it unlocks 3.6 million square foot of residential and retail commercial space. Uh, 1.4 billion GDP impact generally. When we talk about just in terms of unlocking those 3.6 million square foot of commercial residential space, we all know where the province the city relies in full in its coffers. We're talking about those property taxes, and those persons are really building out the city. So of course, city stands to gain from that.
That's
People,
right.
some 23,800 jobs. Couldn't the city of Brampton really do with that right now?
The city of Brampton is so primed and ready. We have the youngest population right now. We have the most communities and cultures, language speaking communities in Brampton. We have over 115 different languages spoken in this city. It just, with that much potential in people, it just says that we are, when we start unlocking and we have something like Riverwalk, those are those are all people who are going to be working and feeding into our economy. So just think about all the jobs that you mentioned. I'm so glad you have the numbers there, because those are those numbers are a good reflection, and that's just an estimate. You know what I
Yes.
mean? Like, when things start to really develop, we'll be able to see there's the potential to go to have even more. So now, if you're young, you're hungry, you're looking to get involved in business, even building development, now's the time to have your eyes on Brampton. Now's the time to start talking with your friends and saying, okay, how can we pool our resources and invest right now in a portion of land that might be available? Or when buildings start to develop, how can you and your friends start investing in condo developments that are happening in the city, downtown Brampton? Because you want to get involved now, and you want to be able to see that investment grow, not just in your business if you start looking at Brampton area to start a business, but in real estate and development.
Absolutely. And as we talk about developing city and city growing, we have to, of course, look at some of the things that is not the best right now in the city of Brampton. We're talking about, of course, traffic, and I'm making specific reference to the approved Queen Street BRT, which has
Yes,
gotten the green light to go forward. But
that's
apart
right.
from the Queen Street BRT, though, is there any other roadways or major roadways we're looking at right now that could potentially be built out, like the Queen Street BRT?
Well, Queen Street BRT is another key I find at that's lock and key situation. The Queen Street is the most highly utilized transit corridor. And once we have that BRT, it's going to connect our residents all the way up to Vaughan and all the way out and further. So it's major. It will be a major development when that happens, and highly utilized, and especially as we start looking at developing out business and residential areas. The Queen
Yes.
Street corridor is another key area that is primed and ready for development, and development that's intensification, so building up. And so when you look at the BRT line going down Queen, that is going to move a lot of people. And other areas, what we want to see in Brampton is that we have more people using our active transportation system.
Yes.
Right now, with the Queen Street BRT, that is a great start. We're looking on the horizon at two-way all day go, and all of our transit systems, we've seen an increase in usage and an increase in how people feel about our transit system. We are getting better because we're investing in it. But also there is the active transportation plan. You know,
Yes.
our capital works budget has the 31 million to keep working on our local roads. And you know, on the horizon there is Sandalwood Parkway that is looking to be widened, and we did make the decision not to widen Williams Parkway because Williams Parkway is a we there's that emphasis on relying on the active transportation, getting
Yes.
people out of their cars on their bikes to travel east and west, and connecting with our north and south transit. We're on this great grid, you know what I mean?
Yes.
But getting people to travel east and west with active transportation is something we want to be able to focus on. So and then in Ward 7 and 8, that is the area that I represent, we are looking to widen Torbram, which is also going to open up more space for increased car usage. But with our, I just want to keep emphasizing the importance of active transportation, using our transit line, using our bike trails, and making our roads more accessible for people who want to use that. With intensification, if we can put more people on our transit system, we will have less cars gumming up our roadways. That is the goal. If you have a good transit, you have less need for people to be on our roads and cars, out of
Yeah.
cars.
Wonderful. And as we talk about active transport, because I know it is a part of the Green City framework that the city is currently working on. And a part of
That's
this
great.
budget is also to get some 8 electric buses and some 4 overhead chargers. So we're trending toward, but also the other side of that, they have 8 replacement buses coming in, and of course some 175 million investment in our
Hmm.
transport system there. So
Yes,
what I'm getting at essentially is that the transition needs to be made, but in the interim, we are ensuring that people can get to where they're going within
absolutely.
the least amount of time possible. Get the city really moving as it develops.
Absolutely. 1.5 million towards the community energy emissions reduction plans to implement climate change, sustainability, natural heritage priorities is the step we need to go. And because of the 26.1 million investment in Riverwalk, you know, we're now really putting ourselves in a good position to say to the province, say to the federal government, we are making a conscious effort and putting our money where our mouth is to make our city green and healthy. So how about you kick in some more dollars so that we can go all the way,
Yes,
and you know, and start putting our money where our mouth is and making all of our these priorities a reality. We have such a young city, and our young population. I love you guys. I don't want you guys to leave and go
yeah,
downtown where it's
yes,
urban, it's hip, because when you do that, you're taking all of your money and spending it in a different system that, you know, we don't get the benefit of. So my goal is to see more of our young people stay in Brampton, live in Brampton, and help grow Brampton's economy. So if you're making money here, you know, spend your money here, and let's and if you want entertainment ideas, if you want those things, give me a call. Hit me up at Sharmama5 on Instagram, and send me a call. Let me know what type of entertainment things you want to see, what is going to help keep you here in the city of Brampton so that you spend your money here. It's not just a live work
yes.
position, place. It's a live work and
Play,
play
yeah.
place. You know what
And
I
I
mean?
like that you touched on that whole entertainment aspect because I think a lot of what's happening right now is that so many of us who used to go on our ski trips and all that fun stuff right now won't be able to do that this year. And the
Hmm.
city has essentially opened a couple skating rinks on the outside, some 4 skating rinks in total
Yeah, yeah, we
is in
that's right.
place. And then I like that you also made the connection back to what the federal government's plan is for a green city. And when we look at things like these, outdoors, getting active,
Hmm.
having that green city, I'm seeing here some 50,000 trees to be planted as a part of Brampton's effort, while federally some 2 billion trees that we're looking to plant. So you're really making a pitch to the
Hmm.
federal government there, aren't you?
Absolutely. We made a commitment in Brampton to plant 1 million trees, and we're getting there. And but we would love to have more, because Brampton is a fast growing city. It's not slowing down. And with Riverwalk and with the BRT down Queen, we're unlocking so many key potential areas for development and growth. Like I said, the Queen Street corridor, that is a whole other plan that is being executed. There's so much potential for this intensification for Brampton, that you have a young group of politicians here. We are hip. We want to, I love Brampton, but I
Yes.
understand what our young people go through. I remember, being young and being like, I don't want to, there's nothing here in Brampton to do, so I'm going to go downtown, and that's where I'm going to hang out. But I want people to realize that we could grow this. We can make Brampton that hip place, so that when you don't have to worry about transitioning out of Brampton to be like some of me and my friends who end up coming back to Brampton, because this is the place you want to raise your family, right? This is the place where you grow up, so you want your kids to grow up here,
Yes.
because there's trees, because there's walking paths, because you can take your kids on bicycles and play outside, go to Chinguzi Park and do all of the fun things. Right now, out of our budget, we've invested 10 million to promote healthy community living in each ward. Baseball diamonds, through partnerships. We got the Blue Jays and Peel District School Board partnership happening,
Wow.
to build a baseball diamond at Judith Nyman High School. You
Yes.
know, um, the new sports dome coming at the Brampton Soccer Center, that's going to be huge too. We're renovating Balmoral Community Center, Chris Gibson Community Center, Center, Riverstone Community Center, Victoria Park Sportsplex. There's so many things for youth. Plus the youth hubs, we've invested money in that at Century Gardens and South Fletcher. So there is so much to draw and keep our young people here. And I want to say to the federal government and the provincial government, look at what Brampton has to offer. You have so many residents here who want to participate, want to have a voice. They want to know that their governments are listening and are answering.
Absolutely. And of course, we'll take our very second break here on the show. But of course, listen to what Brampton, and look at what Brampton has to offer. That's the word from Councillor Williams, Wards 7 and 8. But we'll take our very second break, but we'll be right back. So in the meantime, all you have to do is just get your friends so that they can tune in for what's to come. Soon come back.
Now we can officially say that the app is out, but only for now in the App Store, so only for our Apple users. I'm sorry, Android, we're just gonna have to wait just a little bit longer, but don't worry, that's coming for you too. But you can get the GBKM app right on the App Store, where you can do everything you can do on the website. Check out the past shows, check out upcoming shows. You get notifications from when we go live, so you can just take us on the go with you everywhere you go, and you won't have to worry about missing a future show. Now we can officially say that the app is out, but only for now in the App Store, so only for our Apple users. I'm sorry, Android, we're just gonna have to wait just a little bit longer, but don't worry, that's coming for you too. But you can get the GBKM app right on the App Store, where you can do everything you can do on the website. Check out the past shows, check out upcoming shows. You get notifications from when we go live, so you can just take us on the go with you everywhere you go, and you won't have to worry about missing a future show. Now.
And of course, welcome back to the Yout Turnt show right here on GBKM FM. If you're just joining us, of course, you missed the first half of our program, but don't worry, we always post our videos back to our platforms. And don't forget, our brand new app is here on the Apple Store. So if you're an Apple user, you can definitely get our app and you can catch up on our past shows. If you're not on the Apple side as yet, like me, still on Android, of course, you can just keep up with our shows on our Facebook platform. So it's Great Bending Kingdom Media, also on YouTube at GBKM TV. You can also get us on TuneIn app, and don't forget, we still have our website up, which is www.gbkm.fm. Of course, I am still here with Councillor Williams, Brampton City Council, Wards 7 and 8 Councillor, that is. And we have been talking about what's to come in 2021 from the great city of Brampton, the Flower City. So much to come, and based on what I'm hearing, it's going to be even more floral in the
Yes.
future.
Yes, yes, absolutely. Going green, I and there's more to that, but I'll let you continue to do your intro. Sorry, I'm cutting you
No,
off.
we're
I'm
there. We're
running the
there.
interview. What do you
We're definitely there.
mean?
But we're just spinning away here from and going into some of the investments that I see here for young people. We're
Mhm.
talking about developing the human capital that we have in our young in Brampton. We're talking about 2.4 million towards Algoma University, expanding its footprint, and of course offering more courses. We
That's
want to get it to the to the UTM in Mississauga. We want to get it to the UFT in downtown Toronto. We want to get it as one of those recognized universities in Canada. So just delve into some of those investment, though. We're talking about young people developing the young capital that we have here, and of course,
yeah.
really supporting the intellectual capital that we have in them.
Absolutely. Whenever we go on business visits in around 7 and 8, and I try to get to know so the business owners in the ward, and we often ask the question, what would help you out if we could change something? What would you change? What do you see us investing in? What would you like to see us do to make your business run better? And every single one says talent. We need talent. Guys out there, Brampton businesses, and I'm telling you, life sciences like Dynacare, e-commerce businesses in Brampton, you name it, Etel Pasta, all of the businesses, they say they want talent. That essentially means they're looking for people who are trained to be able to do the jobs that they have. So if they're looking for the talent and we haven't even exploded yet, that's a good sign that we want our young people to come back to Brampton and look for work, look for those jobs that are being sought after by every single business in almost every single sector. So in order to get to that point, though, we want our young people to still be healthy, and like I said, 10 million invested in our recreation system to encourage active living is major. Plus, we have our youth hubs. So we're looking at developing 2 youth hubs here in
Yes.
Brampton, places where young people can be engaged and get supports that they need, or or be around people their age. And that is going to be at Century Gardens Rec Center and at South Fletcher's. And so we had gone through, our rec department had gone through a great engagement strategy where they did a survey with young people to ask all the young people, what do they want to see in this place? So that the results of that is going to be coming out soon. They're going to be reporting to council when we get started again, and that won't be until the 20th of January. But if you do want more information, go to reconnects at brampton.ca and you'll be able to get more information on the youth hubs. And stay tuned, because we want to know, we're going to hear what our young people are saying they need and they want. And
Yes.
so when we start building those youth hubs, they are reflective of what has been asked. We are listening in Brampton. Always know that we're listening and doing what we can.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And a part of what the call is from our young people is we've seen over the summer, we've spoken of this before. Of course, we want to see those social changes also. And one of the things that really popped out at me going through what 2020 has in store is the creation of the new equity office. And what is
Yes.
the mandate of that office exactly? Because I think we've all had the discussion. We simply don't. Okay, let me speak on my behalf here. We
Okay.
don't want an office to listen again. We want an
Yes.
office that takes action, right?
Hmm.
So, is that the mandate of the new equity office? Taking action, really giving council proper legislative advice, and not just legislative advice, but giving them
Yes.
legislations that, of course, council can adopt to ensure that the issues that we would have had before are
Hmm.
adequately addressed.
Absolutely. The equity office will focus on identifying and removing the barriers in the workplace and community, regardless of race, ancestry, place of origin, you name it. That is the key, removing the barriers. Also, it will host the Black African Caribbean Social Culture and Economic Empowerment and Anti-Black Racism Unit. I know it's a very long name, but we have a wonderful lady. Her name is Gwen Chapman. She is the head of that, and that unit is was set up this year as well as the Indigenous Reconciliation Project. So the goal is to make sure ensure there is fair and equitable treatment of all individuals and promote harmonious environments for both inside the city of Brampton and for its residents. Because I've always said, the way the city treats its staff is a reflection of how they're going to treat people out there. So we need to really make sure both internally we're taking care of ourselves, we're making it right. And then we'll be focusing on the external, both at the same time. But these are things
Absolutely.
that we need to be doing.
Yes.
And you're absolutely right. Right. We can't just sit down and listen anymore. We
Yeah.
have to be active. I remember when the tragedy of George Floyd in the U.S. happened. I remember calling on our staff to say, look, we back in January of 2019, participated in a workshop led by the CCDI, which is the Canadian Center for Diversity and Inclusion. And there was a survey that was done in the city, and they provided insight on the survey, plus a number of strategies that we can use to help things become more equitable and inclusive. And one of the pieces out of that, actually signed our policy. So we do have a diversity, equity, and inclusion policy at the city of Brampton, and you can go online, you can read it, it's all there. One of the strategies in that policy was to have circles where people in different communities in staff can sit and discuss some of the things that they're experiencing. And I said, look, since January when we signed that policy, we haven't really done anything. Now I know COVID has really taken the front seat, but
Yes.
we still have to address diversity, equity,
Because,
inclusion.
of course, those issues don't evaporate with
They
COVID
don't go
19.
away. That's
In
right.
other words, it actually exacerbated essentially the realities of the Black community,
That's
marginalized
right.
communities.
Yeah, that's right. Toronto has done great work to identify how the Black African Caribbean community, the marginalized community, socioeconomic status, how all of those things are being impacted or exasperated. Exactly. So out of that though, it really did spark the conversation to happen here at the city of Brampton. We moved the motion for the unit to be created, and then we also all of councillors were asked some of what the term of council priorities were going to be, and equity and inclusion was one of the top ones. So from there, we are developing an equity office, and so two positions will be created for that. Plus, we have the unit, and when those postings get put up, keep watch, because we will need good, strong people who understand the fundamental core driving factors to the breakdown in diversity, equity, inclusion, and how we can answer, not just listen, but how we can respond to the very clear things that have been said to the city of Brampton. And so it's the only way we're going to be able to put things right and make things better for all residents in the city.
And we're talking about making things better for all residents in the city. I think one of a part of the population that oftentimes get, and I know the city is aware of the hammering it gets for this issue, homelessness.
Hmm.
I know for a fact that yourself has spoken to it. Mayor Brown, Medeiros, Rowena, all the council members have been speaking vigorously about this issue. But one of the highlights from probably the summer would be the federal government's emergency or rapid housing project, which
Hmm.
delivered 30.4, let me just get a number right, 30.4 million to the city of Brampton to create units, social housing units for those homeless individuals. And I know for a fact that and as I was speaking on previous episodes, homelessness is not just about not having a roof, but it's also
Right.
about addressing some of the other issues. I was blessed, and I say fortunate, myself, and I know my viewers, to have one of Brampton's very own organization fighting against that issue, rest centers,
Hmm.
on, and it presented as quite a strong and compelling case in that regard. And I wanted to just shed some light on what the 2021 budget says about City of Brampton's housing strategy, as well as a new program that you would have identified, which is the Advanced Brampton Funding for Local Charities and Nonprofits. And how can we merge things like these to help eliminate issues like homelessness, and not just homelessness, but other issues?
Right. With I'm the chair of the Community Safety and Advisory Committee, and we do take strong direction from the region, and they have, uh, and we've also adopted with the City of Brampton the community safety um, uh, strategy, and so with that strategy, we know that there are a number of areas that we could be focusing on to help improve the well-being and safety of all residents here in the city. And homelessness is definitely an issue that the region has been picking up and working on. Being a city councilor, I the budget that's created at the region, I don't have that on the top of my head,
Yes.
unfortunately, but I would encourage you go to the region of Peel website, because that's where they deal with most of the vulnerable sector, which is Ontario Works, homelessness and housing and such. And but where we come in at the city of Brampton, and I as a counselor, always advocating for our community, and making sure that as the city of Brampton, we are facilitators of organizations and people who want to do things to help improve the way people live in their community. And so, with the Advanced Brampton Fund, we've invested $150,000 that is specific for community safety. So, if you're an organization that that will do different initiatives for to help people, you can apply for the Advanced Brampton Fund, and
And
go
just
to
a pin in that though before you go further. So application, is
yeah.
there like an upper limit or a lower limit as to how much? Well, there must be one.
Right.
What are
Yeah,
those
there are
limits?
three different tiers. So the largest amount, we have two grants for 25,000 each, and then there's about four or five grants for around three for 12,000, and then four or five for 5,000, I believe it is, and then there's a number of $1,000 grants that people can apply for. But it's all there on the website. So if you are, and there's a certain amount of criteria, and now is the time for you guys to put in your application. And I want young people to really look at this as an opportunity to do something in your community. You don't have to be a big established organization to apply for this funding. Of course, if you are going for the largest pots of money, then you have to make sure there's structure to your organization,
Yes.
because there's accountability that you have to follow. But if you are young people, you want to do initiatives, whether it be doing food drives, or you need some dollars to help, I don't know, knit scarves. I don't know.
Yeah.
You
So
know what I
that
mean?
one thousand
Something
dollar
good
does look
things.
quite shiny when you think of it in that perspective,
Yes,
because now,
absolutely. And but this is how we help people, help each other. We have to be reach out and provide a hand. We are a city of Brampton is a great city, but we're also a very caring city. We have the task force during COVID, the social support task force has done great work to get people fed and connected to organizations that are feeding people. We also, I'm a co-chair for the Youth Support Task Force, and
yes,
we've connected with organizations that are doing great work. We are a caring city. So, young people, I know you guys are caring too. And if you have an idea,
yes, we sure
check out
are.
our website. honestly, and get into that advanced Brampton fund.
Absolutely. And just an update from the Youth Support Task Force. I couldn't have you here without, of course, giving an update. The last time we spoke about this was in
Yes.
July, just after it was launched, I think a month in. What
Yes.
has the task force been able to accomplish throughout
Yeah.
2020, and what can we see going forward? I did hear back then, if I remember clearly, the task force will be around for some time,
Yes.
right? So,
Yes.
what is there a change in direction for the task force? What's happening with the task force now?
The task force, the best thing one of the best things, because we've done so many good things, but one of the great things about the task force is connect organizations. Like people, organizations are feeding into the city of Brampton and connecting through this youth support task force. We meet once a month via Zoom, where organizations will give updates on what everybody's doing, and not just organizations, school boards as well. We have
Yes.
representatives from the school boards letting us know what's happening, how we're supporting our young people, because I'm telling you, it's not easy being at home, being isolated, not being able to hang out with your friends. You always have a mask on. If you're like me, you got mask acne. We're all breaking out. Like,
Yeah.
it's stressful. It's a stressful time. And we need to make sure that we're helping our young people cope. And so that's what the Youth Support Task Force has been able to do. Plus, it's been able to let people know about the arts and things that the Rose Theater is doing for our young people. Volunteer groups. If you are looking to volunteer right now, because you can still get your volunteer hours, it may look a little different, but there's still opportunities. Through the Youth Support Task Force, we've connected with a number of youth volunteer connecting organizations that will
Yes.
get young people connected with an organization to do some good work. There's we're able to get youth access to food, access to shelter,
Wonderful.
and even parents support on how to do the homeschooling thing.
Yes.
We're all in this together. So any way we can help our young people, our young kids, to our youth, we're doing that through the Youth Support Task Force. So go to Let's Connect Brampton.ca/youth task force, and you'll be able to get lots of information. Or Brampton.ca, you'll see the big banner that says COVID-19. Click on that, and you'll see the task force all listed there that you can get supports through.
Absolutely. And how time certainly does fly when one is enjoying the conversation. But of course, as we come upon that hour, though, Council, before you go, though, I want you to just give us a synopsis of essentially what we discussed here today and just paint that bright and flowery vision for us in the city of Brampton, of course.
Well, you know what? Brampton is a great city. I have been around Brampton since 1980, and you know, I, I think all of us who live here, we get frustrated when we hear people dog Brampton. But let's look at some of the facts. We this year have offered our third tax freeze. Third tax freeze. Your taxes aren't increasing. And if you are living on your own, if you're, helping out your parents, you can remind your parents, hey, your taxes didn't go up from the city of Brampton this year. We've contributed, have 114 million in our city reserves. That's a good thing. That should tell you that the city of Brampton isn't going to go bankrupt anytime soon. We've
Yes.
invested 10 million in recreational, so you guys are going to be able to practice your track and field. You can play under a soccer dome over at the soccer center. We've got ice rinks all over the city for you to skate this winter. We have COVID is a difficult time, but we want to make sure that you're healthy and well. So head to the website and check out our task force that we have available. Riverwalk, that lock and key, the BRT line down Queen, two-way all day go making its way up here. Brampton is going to blow up. We're on that beginning, and as soon as COVID comes out, we're all shaving our hair and getting ourselves nice back again
Yes.
outside. We will be ready to have great celebrations again at the city of Brampton.
Absolutely. And Council, I just want to say thank you so much for having joined us on the show here. Of course, Happy New Year to you once again.
Thank
But
you.
it's always such a pleasure, though. It's always such a pleasure. I really do enjoy hearing about the prospects of a bright
Yes.
future, even though things might look dark right now. But we will come out, and we'll come out stronger. And
That's
I
right.
only hope that this budget works the way it is supposed to. And I trust a team
Yes.
that in yourself, mayor, the city staff, and all the persons who sat down and hammer out this budget, that they will make it work. They
And you
will.
guys will hold us accountable. You know, we are
Absolutely.
human beings. We are your voice at council. So if something's going on you don't like, let us know. We're here to listen. We have to listen. And if you need to get a hold of me at Char Mama 5, that's CHARMOMOF number 5. That's how you can hit me up on Instagram, or you can get me on Facebook, or at charmainewilliams.ca. You can find me there, and it's a link to my City of Brampton website. So please, send me a message, and let's keep talking, because that's the only way we're going to be able to get somewhere. And then if you want to, when it gets warm, hit me up on some of our beautiful trails in Bramalea Ward 7 and 8. We're doing some great renovations and changes. We're having our J section update, so if you live around the J section and walk that area, there were a number of willow trees to cut down, but we did that because we're getting rid of those concrete. I don't know, Mr. Redman, if you know the concrete channels in Bramalea and our
Yes, I
creeks?
do know them.
Oh,
Yes,
you
I do
do.
know them. Yep.
Okay. So we're removing them. The TRCA, we're joined with the TRCA. They
Yes.
have to be removed. They're not good for the environment. And so the plan is to have, especially in the J section, around 10,000, 1,000 trees replanted in this area, and shrubs, and it's going to look beautiful, to bring the natural course of the water and bring back the fish and all of these things. So, it's heartbreaking to see those trees go down. I feel it too, but just think of the potential and what it's going to look like, especially if you're young and you have kids that you're raising in Brampton. When they are in their 40s, they're going to see beautiful large trees that never have to be taken down.
Absolutely. And once again, Council, thank you so much for having joined me here. We'll take our very last break on the Yout Turnt show, but we'll be right back after these messages.
Thank you.
We can officially say that the app is out, but only for now in the App Store, so only for our Apple users. I'm sorry, Android, we're just gonna have to wait just a little bit longer, but don't worry, that's coming for you too. But you can get the GBKM app right on the App Store, where you can do everything you can do on the website. Check out the past shows, check out upcoming shows. You get notifications from when we go live, so you can just take us on the go with you everywhere you go, and you won't have to worry about missing.
Absolutely, and welcome back to the Yout Turnt show right here on GBKM-FM. If you're just joining us, you missed today's broadcast live, that is, but of course, don't worry. We have you covered on all our platforms, so go to our Facebook, it's Great Bending Kingdom Media. You can get the video posted there. You can also go to our YouTube, it's GBKM TV. Also on our website, www.gbkm.fm. We're also in TuneIn app at GBKM, and those are for repeats. But of course, the new and excited feature about GBKM is, of course, our app, which is now available in the Apple Store. You can get us in the Apple Store, and you can, of course, watch this past program, which it will be by the time I'm done here, on the app on demand, wherever you are, whenever you are. and all that fun stuff, and catch what's to come in the future. But of course, as we always like to tell you here, thank you so much, Council, for having joined us on the show here today. And don't forget, one more time, for our amazing sponsor, AOF Immigration Canada, who specializes in all your immigration needs, ranging from the Quebec Investor Program, Permanent Residency, Caregiver Program, Business Visitor Visa, Student Visa Program, Temporary Worker Program, and so much more. So, of course, give them a call or send them an email for your private and your confidential consultation. Their phone number is 416-629-4617. You can also send them an email. It's at info@aofimmigration.com. I want to send a huge thank you to my in-studio team, lights, cameras, action, production, for keeping us dazzling each and every week on air. I want to also thank you at home for tuning in each and every week and being the audience, feeding from the information that we are, of course, providing it. It's an absolute pleasure. We're in 2021, and with 2021, we hope things will be a lot different than what it was in 2020. But of course, for you at home, thank you so much for tuning in. Until next time, as we always say, just keep reaching, keep achieving, and of course, keep changing the world. We'll see you next week.
In a future show. Now we can officially say that the app is out, but only for now in the App Store, so only for our Apple users. I'm sorry, Android, we're just gonna have to wait just a little bit longer, but don't worry, that's coming for you too. But you can get the GBKM app right on the App Store, where you can do everything you can do on the website. Check out the past shows, check out upcoming shows. You get notifications from when we go live, so you can just take us on the go with you everywhere you go, and you won't have to worry about missing a future show.